This is the Furbo Dog Camera and Treat Dispenser. I ordered one of these to check it out. Looks like a pretty fun, cool new toy. Several of my clients have picked it up and they like it, and a couple of friends have as well. So I wanted to see what kind of all the hype was in regard to this Furbo Dog Camera and Treat Dispenser. So a couple things I want to go over with you. We'll talk about how to set it up and some of the features that are available. But first, let's go ahead and open it up. Okay, let's see what's inside. We've got double boxing. All right. They're gonna make you work for this one. Okay, so here's the inside of the Furbo box. Looks like we got some more tape to get through here. So what I like about this is when it's shipped, it's really safely protected. It's an expensive piece of equipment, so that's nice. Good presentation. All right. Got a box with all the extra goodies, a little setup guide. Welcome to the pack, share your photos, some Instagram marketing there. All right, so here's the actual treat dispenser and camera itself. It has a little bamboo lid where all of the treats go inside here. So we'll get that set up. Peel off the camera sticker. There's the camera for it. And then all of the hardware should be in here. It looks like it kind of comes with everything that you need except treats, of course. Yep. There's our plug to plug it in, USB cord, and our quick start guide. All right, let's get it set up. Actually, before we get right into how to set this up, something else that's a little bit more important is going over some of the features. Not only so you know how to use it, but also I kind of wanted to walk you through a couple of the pros about using the Furbo itself, and then there's a couple of things that I'm not quite sold on just yet. So right before we get to setup, let's talk a little bit about that. Overall, I'm really optimistic about this product. I really like it, and I don't want to be too early in saying this, but I think from a behavior perspective, there could be a lot of positive things to come out of this, especially working with your dog from a distance, not at home, when you're at work, and providing some extra enrichment. And there's a number of other things that I'm really kind of excited about trying out with the Furbo itself. But so overall, really great product. I'm really excited to use it and to try it out. So let's talk about some of the pros. And a lot of these pros come straight from their website. They talk about the different features that are available. One of the things that I really like is the camera. It's a 1080 HD camera. That's great. You should be able to see your dog, cat, anyone else that you have in the household really, really well. There's two-way talking systems. So you can talk to your dog and you can hear your dog back. They have bark alerts built into it. The price point, I think, is actually really good. They had this advertised on their website for about $250. I was able to purchase it under $200, and I've noticed it on Amazon for under $200 as well. They do run some specials on it. But overall, if you think about it, your Nest home security cameras are about $250 a piece, and they don't come with an automated treat dispenser, so bonus. The other thing too is the only other product out there that's very similar to this is about $120, and it doesn't have the feature of having an app, which I really like, the interactive app, and it doesn't have a camera. So even though it's a remote dispenser, the manners minder, it doesn't have the additional features like the camera and the app with it as well. And the manners minder, again, is about $120. So overall, for just under $200, I think this is a pretty good price point for this. In addition to the features that it already comes with, they also have a $70 nanny cam subscription. It's $70 a year, and it adds in features like giving you a time-lapse video of what your animal's day looked like while you were gone. And they upload that as well as a 24-hour period of video to the cloud. So those are some of the features that adding in that $70 subscription to purchasing this on top gets you. A couple of the things, again, that I'm not really sold on. There's a little bit of marketing fluff happening on Furbo's website that I really didn't think was completely necessary because, again, this is a really cool product. I think it's very innovative. I think it's a step up from what we've seen with remote treating. And some of the things that I just kind of wasn't really too convinced were great ideas were things like the clicking. So it does make a clicking sound, but on the website it specifically says that it kind of relates it to clicker training. And the one thing I wanted to mention about that is that your dog doesn't have an association with sound until one is made, unless it's really unpleasant or really pleasant. And I couldn't find anything on Furbo's website that said that they used a specific tone of a sound that is known to be very pleasing to dogs in general. So there's no association with a sound like a clicker, even the sound that this makes, or a clicker in clicker training, until you actually build that association with rewards. So in normal clicker training, it's click, reward, and that's how you build that. This works in a similar way, but remember, it's a different sound. So even if they have a positive association with the clicker that you use, and they understand that that means reward, doesn't mean they're gonna have the same association with this. You have to build it. Now, with that being said as well, they'll obviously eventually have a positive association with the click sound that this makes, but because this click sound is different from other clickers, it doesn't translate in training at all. So I thought that was a little bit unclear, maybe a little bit misleading in regard to the sound and the clicker that this actually makes when it dispenses a treat. The other thing I wasn't too keen on was the automated timer. You have to be really careful about what you're rewarding and what you're communicating with your dog. So if you set this up on an automated timer to just dispense treats whenever, you never really know what your dog is doing unless you're checking in with your animal right before the treat is delivered. And if you're gonna check in to see what your animal's doing before you deliver a treat, every single time you can just hit a treat right from there. The thing that concerns me a little bit about the automated timer is you could be rewarding inadvertently poor behaviors. If your dog is in the middle of pooping on the rug and it dispenses a treat, or barking excessively and it automatically dispenses a treat, you are in a sense rewarding undesirable behaviors. So I'm not super fond of the automated timer. Now if you have a really good dog that's well behaved and doesn't have any issues in the house, again, you still don't know what it is you're rewarding if it's automated, but I could see how it keeps them busy or keeps them interested. Another point on keeping them interested is the light. They have a light feature here where it goes from blue to yellow. The other thing I'm not too fond of on the site here, where it talks about the blue and yellow colors, it says Furbo switches between the two colors dogs can see, yellow to blue. Well, dogs can see a spectrum of colors. It's different from ours, and it does range. It's not just two colors. But you don't want your dog obsessing over something like this to where they're associating the blue light and the yellow light as active and non-active. So we don't want obsessive animals just kind of sitting in front of the Furbo waiting based on light. I don't see that being too much of a problem, but to advertise that as a feature is kind of, I don't really see that as a benefit per se. They do have kind of a cool feature. They're really trying to play up the technology factor on this, and you can connect it as an Alexa skill. But again, if you're going to be seeing the dog, again, you want to be careful about what you're associating when you provide a reward. Kind of the feature of being able to talk to Alexa and have it tell the Furbo to deliver a treat is really only beneficial if you can see the dog. So if you need to see the dog to deliver the reward appropriately, you're going to pull up the app on your phone and look. So why not, while you have the app on your phone, just click and deliver right from the phone. So I'm not too sure of the benefit. I do like that they're trying to kind of blend some technologies to make it more useful. So that might be for something down the road that we don't even know about yet. But anyhow, those are kind of the marketing fluff kind of cons that I see that I'm kind of iffy on and not really sold on. But again, overall, I really, really like this product. I'm super excited to try it out. And my brain is going 100 miles a minute thinking of all the cool behavioral reinforcements that we can use with this new gadget. So without further ado, I'm gonna go get one of our dogs and get it set up and talk to you about how to start training with the Furbo and how to associate the Furbo. First thing we're going to talk about in regard to setup is location, location, location. The location is super important for a number of reasons. The first reason being this isn't battery operated. You do have to plug it in. So make sure that you find a place with a power socket where you can neatly tuck the cord behind a table or hide them away, because your dog's going to learn that good things come from this. So if they get super excited about it or try to knock it over, you don't want them getting tangled in the cords. So first think about where in your house you have power outlets or sockets that you can plug this in. The next thing we're going to think about is where in the house we want to put it to where we have the best vantage point. So if you have an open concept, that's really helpful. You can position in an area to where you can see the majority of the rooms in the house, but just wherever you have kind of the best view and the widest angle from the camera that's provided with the Furbo. I'm going to show you kind of how I have mine set up directly from the camera from the Furbo, so you can get an idea of how I positioned mine in my own house for the best view of everything around me. In addition to kind of that view, you also want to make sure, according to Furbo, that it's about 12 to 20 inches off of the ground. There's a couple reasons for that. One, because of the camera, so you want it kind of to be in that eyesight and frame, but also because of the treat dispenser down here. You don't want it tossing treats inappropriately. You would kind of want it directly towards your pet, and that's kind of the best recommended height that they have is between 12 and 20 inches. So this table that I have this Furbo sitting on right here is within that frame and is a pretty decent height for treating and rewarding the dogs. On to treats. The one thing that I want to talk about is it is specific with what type of treats that you can put in it. They need to be smaller than the treat dispenser, obviously, but they also recommend using round treats. I have Zook's Mini Naturals here that I actually like to use for training. I'm going to try these. They're not completely spherical, they're more cylindrical, but they're a good bit smaller than the treat dispenser, so I think these are going to work out okay. So we'll give this a shot. All right, aside from loading the treats into the treat jar, which they go right here in the top, the other thing that you have to do right before you're ready to start treating your dog is actually sign up for an account and set everything up through their app. So you go to the App Store, they have this for Android and for Apple. You simply download the app, you create your account right from there. It literally takes less than 2 minutes to do, it's super fast to set up. You set it up on your Wi-Fi network, it will automatically do all of the connecting for you, and you'll be good to go, like I said, in less than 2 minutes. So now that we've got it all completely set up and ready to go with treats, we're gonna go grab Blue Ivy and we're gonna play with the app a little bit and see how this works. Now comes the fun part. We teach the dog about the Furbo and we get to play with it. So the first thing you wanna do is actually build an association. Just because you bring something new in the house doesn't mean that your dog's gonna have any idea what it is. Now Blue's already kind of interested because she can smell treats somewhere. When you're setting up the Furbo app as you're going through it and you're connecting Wi-Fi, it does tell you on there after you put the treats in to go ahead and let your dog smell it. I kind of like to take things to the next level and develop a more clear understanding by building a deeper association. So I'm actually going to use a marker. I'm going to use Furbo and I'm going to teach Blue Ivy what this is based on tossing treats to her. So aside from the fact that she can smell pretty well already, there's some treats going on when I filled this up. Let's go ahead and practice. So I've got the app pulled up, and this is kind of fun. It looks like a little video game where you have to toss the treat to the dog's mouth. So let's see how this goes. Blue Ivy, what's this? What's this right here? I'm gonna try to get her attention over here on this. And let's see if I can toss it. Ready? That tosses a lot of treats at once. That was 4 treats at once. So keep an eye on your calorie content, that's for sure. It was kind of a fun squeaky noise at first, so it was really good at getting her attention. I really like that feature. Good girl. Blue, sit. Yes, good. All right, so something we learn on the fly, probably not putting it next to a nice thick fluffy rug is the best option. Obviously she lost some of the treats in here, but that can also occupy some of her time and get her brain thinking, so it could go either way. Blue Ivy, sit. Now that I've shown her a couple of times, all I'm gonna do is practice over and over again using the marker and using the name of this so she understands that Furbo means treat from this machine particularly. So I'm gonna be careful not to use the word Furbo. Blue Ivy, come here, sit. Good. I'm going to be careful not to use the word Furbo anywhere else in the house because I want to build a specific association with this machine only. What this will allow me to do further on down the road when I'm not in the house, if I want to call her over or check on her, I can simply through the camera say Furbo and she's going to know what I mean and come running over to say hello. So then we start the association. Blue Ivy. Furbo. Furbo. Good girl. So a little bit of inconsistency in the way it tosses the treats, but gets the job done. So again, for association, I'm going to continue using that word and that marker, and every time this tosses a treat, go ahead and use that name. Just a reminder, if you like this kind of video, please let me know by hitting the like button and hit the subscribe and the bell notification if you want to see more like it. Also, if you happen to have a Furbo at home and you've found some pretty unique ways to use it, some fun ways to use it with your dog, or have any comments that you want to make about it, please feel free to leave those in the comments below, and or any questions that you might have in regard to association or training that you can do with your Furbo. Thanks again so much for watching.